Namaste, angels. This is the daily reading for Tuesday, September 11th, on which we will celebrate, honor, remember the 17th anniversary of the event September 11 or 9/11, of which my own family are survivors, living very close to the Trade Center, and my mother having worked right across the street from the Trade Center, even though she lives uptown. So my whole family basically survivors, which is a good thing, you know, positive. And what else? It's also the New Year. So there's other positive stuff going on. For the Hebrew New Year, Rosh Hashanah, we're still celebrating that. And also the Islamic New Year, Hijri, still celebrating that. So that said, let's see what else went on this day or is going on in history. Beginning with the year 1297 in the battle at Stirling Bridge. Scottish rebel William Wallace defeats the English. 1609, expulsion order announced against the Moriscos of Valencia. It's the beginning of the expulsion of all Spain's Moriscos. 1697, the Battle of Zenta. Forces of Prince Eugene of Savoy defeat the Turks, ending the Ottoman control of large parts of Central Europe. 1708, which is 88, the Great Northern War. Charles XII of Sweden stops his march to conquer Moscow outside of Smolensk, marking the turning point in the war. 2001, two passenger planes are hijacked by terrorists and they crash into New York's World Trade Towers, causing the collapse of both and deaths of 2,752 people. And counting. I mean, that was on the day, but many people have died consequently, not only because of what happened here, but in the other areas as well. 2001, also, again, terrorists hijack a passenger plane and crash it into the Pentagon, causing the deaths of 125 people. And also 2001. Attempt by passengers and crew of United Airlines Flight 93 to retake control of their plane, which had been hijacked by terrorists, causes the plane to crash in Pennsylvania, killing all 64 people that had been on board. Did you know, Benjamin Franklin writes, there never was a good war or bad peace on September 11th in the year 1773. Famous birthdays. D.H. Lawrence, Ed Sabol, Ferdinand Marcos, Tom Landry, Bashar al-Assad, and Harry Connick Jr. Would you believe Mountain Meadows Massacre? Mormons dressed as Indians murder 120 colonists in Utah. You need me to repeat that? Because it was all sorts of convoluted. It's called the Mountain Meadows Massacre. Mormons, dressed as Indians, murder 120 colonists in Utah. How do you like that? That happened on September 11th in the year 1857. Famous weddings, 1930, which is 1304, 1111. Mystery writer Agatha Christie, 39, weds archaeologist Max Mallowan, 26. 1941, Belgium King Leopold secretly marries Lillian Bales. 1983, fashion designer Donna Karan marries Stephen Weiss. 1993, country singer Merle Haggard, 56, weds his fifth wife, Teresa Ann Lane, at his ranch near Redding, California. In 1999, actress Jenny McCarthy, 26, weds actor director John Mallory Asher, 28, in the Crystal Gardens at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And in 1977, TV's Rhoda gets divorced. Famous deaths: Billy Bishop, Nikita Khrushchev, Salvador Allende, Jessica Tandy, Todd Beamer, and Johnny Unitas. Johnny Unitas, his full name was John Constantine Unitas. He was an NFL quarterback, American football player in the 1950s through the 1970s. He spent the majority of his career playing for the Baltimore Colts, a record-setting quarterback who was the National Football League's most valuable player in 1959, 1964, and 1967. For 52 years, he held the record for the most consecutive games with a touchdown pass, the prototype of the modern era marquee quarterback with strong passing game, media fanfare, and widespread popularity. He has been consistently listed as one of the greatest NFL players of all time. He was born on May 7th in the year 1933 and was a tourist from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA, but he died on September 11th in 2002 at the age of 69 of a heart attack. Todd Beamer was American and a passenger on the United Airlines Flight 93. He was a software salesman who was a passenger aboard that flight when it was hijacked as part of the September 11th attacks in 2001. He was one of the passengers who tried to reclaim the aircraft from the hijackers, leading them to crash it into a field in Stony Creek Township near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. He was born on November 24th in 1968 and was a Sagittarius from Flint, Michigan, USA. He died on September 11th in 2001 at the age of 32 in a plane crash. Jessica Tandy was both American and English. She was an actress famous for Foxfire in 1987, Driving Miss Daisy in 1989, and Fried Green Tomatoes in 1991. She was born on June 7th in 1909. June 7th is Prince's birthday too. A Gemini from London, England, United Kingdom. She died on September 11th in 1994 at the age of 85 of ovarian cancer. Salvador Allende, full name Salvador Guillermo Allende Gossens, was Chilean, a Marxist president of Chile. Physician and politician, Allende was inaugurated in 1970 as Chile's first socialist president and sought to restructure Chilean society along socialist lines while maintaining a democratic form of government. He committed suspected suicide in 1973 after his government was overthrown in a military coup led by general and future dictator Augusto Pinochet. He was born on July 26 in 1908, which is 9/9, and was a Leo from Valparaiso, Chile. He died on September 11th in 1973 at the age of 65, widely believed to have committed suicide by shooting himself during the military takeover of power in Chile, although rumors also swirl around that he was assassinated by the military. Nikita Khrushchev was Russian and the Soviet first secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union from Joseph Stalin's death in 1953 through 1964. Khrushchev was responsible for the de-Stalinization of the Soviet Union, supporting the early Soviet space program, and for several relatively liberal reforms in areas of domestic policy. These were often ineffective, especially in agriculture. Khrushchev ordered major cuts in conventional forces, hoping to rely on missiles and nuclear weapons to defend the Soviet Union. He also led the USSR during the Cuban Missile Crisis, which these policies helped to cause. Khrushchev's party colleagues removed him from power in 1964, replacing him with Leonid Brezhnev. He was born on April 15th in 1894, which is 13/04/1111, and April 15th is a 19. He was an Aries from Kalinova, Russia. He died on September 11th in 1971 at the age of 77 of a heart attack. And lastly, Billy Bishop, among the deaths at least, whose full name was William Avery Bishop. He was Canadian and the first World War flying ace. The top Canadian flying ace during World War I, Billy Bishop is officially credited with 72 victories. During World War II, he was instrumental in establishing the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan. He was born on February 8th in 1894, which again is 13/04/1111, and was an Aquarius from Owen Sound, Ontario, Canada. He died on September 11th in 1956 at the age of 62. Going back up to the birthdays, Harry Connick Jr. is 51 years old. His full name is Joseph Harry Fowler Connick Jr. He is American and a singer. Also a musician and actor who has sold over 28 million albums worldwide. He's ranked among the top 60 best-selling male artists in the United States by the Recording Industry Association of America, with 16 million in certified sales. He has 7 top 20 U.S. albums and 10 #1 U.S. jazz albums, earning more #1 albums than any other artist in the United States jazz chart history. He was born on September 11th in 1967 and is 51 years old, a Virgo from New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. Bashar al-Assad is Syrian and the president of Syria, the dictator of Syria since taking over from his father, Hafez al-Assad, in 2000. A decade into his reign, the Syrian civil war began as the uprising to topple him from power. More than 350,000 people have been killed since the beginning of that war. He was born on September 11th in 1965 and is 53 years old, a Virgo from Damascus, Syria. Tom Landry was American and an NFL football coach, regarded as one of the greatest and most innovative coaches in NFL history. He created many new formations and methods, such as the 4-3 defense. His 29 years as the coach of one team, the Dallas Cowboys, are an NFL record, along with his 20 consecutive winning seasons. He won 2 Super Bowl titles, Super Bowl VI, 12, and 5 NFL titles, 13 divisional titles, and he compiled a 270-178-6 record for the 3rd most wins of all time for an NFL coach. He also won 20 career playoff games, the most in NFL history. He was born on September 11th in 1924 and was a Virgo from Mission, Texas, USA. He died on February 12th in 2000 at the age of 75 of leukemia. Ferdinand Marcos was Filipino and the president of the Philippines. He's remembered for running a corrupt and undemocratic government as the 10th president of the Philippines from 1965 through 86. Marcos came to power in 1965 and was elected to a second term in 1969. However, in the face of public unrest, he imposed martial law from 1972 through 1981. In 1983, his longtime political opponent, Ninoy Aquino, is assassinated and Marcos's government is implicated. The country ignites in protests. This eventually leads to snap elections in 1986. Marcos running against Corazon Aquino. The election is marred by widespread reports of violence and tampering of election results. The so-called People's Power Revolution gained strength eventually, forcing Marcos and his government to capitulate. Marcos is forced to flee to Hawaii, where he dies in 1989. In the 2004 Global Transparency Report, Marcos appeared in the list of the world's most corrupt leaders. He was said to have amassed between $5 billion to $10 billion in his 21 years as president. His equally famous wife, Imelda Marcos, later returned to the Philippines and to politics. He was born on September 11th in 1917 and was a Virgo from Surat, Icos Nortes, Philippines. He died on September 28th in 1989 at the age of 72 of heart, lung, and kidney disease. Ed Sabol, whose full name was Edwin Sabol, was an American filmmaker and founder of NFL Films. Together with his son Steve, Ed Sabol founded NFL Films, which transformed the game of football and allowed fans to get a closer look at the game. He was born on September 11th in 1916 and was a Virgo from Atlantic City, New Jersey, USA. He died on February 9th at the age of 98 in the year 2015. And lastly, D.H. Lawrence was English and a writer. He was famous for Sons and Lovers, The Rainbow, and Women in Love. He was born on September 11th in 1855, which is 13/04/11/11. So like 11/11/11. He was a Virgo from Eastwood, Nottinghamshire, England. He died on March 2nd in 1930, which is another 13/04/11/11. He was born in one and died in one. He was 44 at the time when he passed of tuberculosis, and he was the last of the birthdays. I also have a goddaughter and an ex celebrating birthdays on 9/11. My high school boyfriend and my best friend from high school, her daughter, my goddaughter, birthday's on 9/11. All right, so romantic dinner is what I'm beginning with. 29, so some spiritual partnership going on, and it's 50-50, right? Give and take. I also saw eat cake, so maybe others celebrating birthdays. Happy birthday to any Virgos out there celebrating. Spirit says cocktail. No, for I think the second day in a row. For yes and no questions, and stay in bed. Going to the cards, begin with the Six of Earth, gifts of money, time, or effort, new career opportunities, and receiving a loan or paying off debts. So unconditional love. Opening to the Queen of Air, who's independent, experienced, realistic, and witty, objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, and seeing the humor in a situation. The Queen of Air is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. And maybe one that's all sorts of anxious and feeling stuck and scared, fearful, uptight. An illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, being afraid to take action. The Eight of Air is very similar to the Devil for me. That same kind of energy, except, you know, the Devil is major arcana, so it's stronger. But it's very similar, the way it feels to me. Fear, lack of confidence, ego, all that stuff. Queen of Air. And opening to Awakening with Archangel Gabriel. Look at things from a different perspective. You're at a temporary standstill in the meantime, so you can do that. It's important to be yourself in this time. So it's like an air of suspension, right? A pause. And it gives you an opportunity to decide, like, you know, what's really up with you, what you really want, and all those things. When time picks up, you're ready to act on those things. Awakening is the Hangman in the traditional tarot. Major Arcana card 12 equals 3. So it may have something to do with some sort of third party of 3. And represents for me the planet Neptune in the sign of Pisces, what all attached to dreams and fantasy and, you know, just, yeah, like dreaming about goals and where am I, who am I, that sort of thing, trying to find yourself. Queen of Air, and the Dreamer with Archangel Metatron. A leap of faith. Follow your dreams that leads to unexpected opportunities. The Dreamer, or the Fool in the traditional tarot, in this deck at least, represents for me the planet Mercury, ruler of both Gemini and Virgo. It's all about walking in a brand new path. The Fool or Dreamer. And the Dreamer was right behind the Hangman, which I said is about dreams and fantasies. So you could be like thinking, what do I want? You could really decide, like legitimately, genuinely. Oh, one of the things you may want is to walk away from a situation or a relationship or something. A desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful and spiritual and emotional growth. Yeah, you could be dreaming about those things, and when, again, time picks back up, you can begin to implement them. And coming to the Chariot, major arcana card, the Chariot with Archangel Metatron, an important achievement, self-discipline and willpower. Public recognition is also a possibility. Chariot, all about victory, movement, moving, modes of transportation. People could be traveling. People could be moving metaphorically, like moving forward. It's just, or like that desire to move on. Definitely can be connected with this. You know, it's a good card. We began with a 6. Our overall energy is a 6. And like the Chariot, the 6 of Fire is all about victory. Even says it right here, victory. Good news, it's on its way. Also public recognition or awards. Could easily be good news, you know, connected to some sort of new beginning for you. Again, with the new year being celebrated by Jews and Muslims alike the world over. So a lot of really positive forward moving energy. Forward moving like the Chariot. Okay. Crowning the masculine on this day, it's the Page of Earth, scholarly, dependable, patient, successful, good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging and maybe a new area of study. The Page of Earth is a Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Masculine surrounded by the 10 of air, the end of a difficult situation. Maybe the difficult situation was that he was broke, but then here comes the news about the money, right? Expect the change. Expect things to get better. Somebody could be recovering from an addiction too, could be addicted or having had a codependent or a poor relationship with money, as they say. That could be coming to an end and getting a better handle on one's finances. In the masculine subconscious, yes, more forward moving energy. It's the 6 of air. Things are looking up. It's the end of a difficult situation. You may even be taking a trip. When these cards come together, absolutely, things are getting better. There is absolute improvement in the air for the masculine here. Some of them may have been trying to get into school or something, or get into some sort of program, vocational program or something, and maybe having had difficulty before, and now they're being like accepted. Crowning the feminine, it's the 9 of water. Speaking of dreams and wishes and stuff, this card is connected to that, and it means it's a big yes as it relates to yes or no questions, particularly connected to love. Also a big yes. Your wish comes true, concerns fade away, and you have a love of life. Feminine surrounded by the 7 of air. Somebody or some energy, if not somebody, still wanting to take something from us. Okay, this is still the energy of joy stealing. So be careful about, you know, your items and stuff. You could lose something, or somebody could try to steal something from you, or it can be an energetic, you know, sort of stealing. And again, we're capable of doing this energetic stealing from ourselves, like with a lack of confidence. If you feel yourself being drained or coming down and not, you know, feeling your best, then work on that energy and trying to shift back to a positive place. Feminine subconscious, it is the Queen of Fire. Now this was here and this was here yesterday. They still were together. So I'm going to say again, the cause of this could be this fire sign. Confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Instead, assert your independence and creativity. The Queen of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. And it was Leo that I was feeling connected potentially to this negative energy. You know, although that's not my choice. I prefer not, because I'm a Leo rising myself, but it is what it is. The Queen of Fire also a representation in general of the divine feminine in the tarot. So this can be our energy too. And again, like our own confidence down. So we're at risk of potentially stealing our own joy. Crowning. The King of Earth, very nice, generous, professional, responsible, and practical. A successful time, confidently accept opportunities you're offered. You have the Midas touch. So sitting next to the 9 of water for the feminine, if maybe she's wishing, you know, I wish something would come in, some money would come in, or I could get this job, or, you know, trying to purchase an asset, maybe a car, having seen the Chariot or something. I hope it comes through. That's available to the feminine. And then when it's sitting here next to the Page of Earth, you know, it's an opportunity for money or something valuable to him that he, you know, he values, that's worth something to him coming in. At the root, these two were crossing the day prior too. The 5 was here and the 7 was here. They've just traded places. So we still got to be mindful of this. And we've got that 5, 6, 7 again. It was straight in a straight row the day prior. I think it was 6, 7, and 8 the day prior in the straight row on the bottom. Now there's a 5, 6, 7, all of air. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation. Review everyone's motives. So like I said the day prior, the 5 of air, it can be about conflict. Maybe somebody was backstabbed, somebody got into a fight, or somebody feels as if they were, right? You feel that at least, even if it didn't actually happen. With air cards, it can be something that's in your mind too. So we got to be mindful of that. And maybe because you thought something was going on, that set things in motion, that caused you to say something or do something that you otherwise wouldn't have, it just changes others' reactions. Like, you know, for every action is an equal and opposite reaction. So, you know, we set these things in motion and they have the potential to, you know, grow out of control. So again, just be mindful of this energy being present and try to avoid or, you know, get a grip on yourself if you feel yourself being pulled down to a low vibe. The heart of the matter. Major Arcana card, Judgment, which represents the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio for me. Review and evaluate. A favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. So more movement if we remain focused. It is crossing the Six of Air. Definitely couldn't be about travel, perhaps over water. Water in both cards here. As it relates to abundance, all right, abundance, it is about abundance that we have earned. We're getting these raises, promotions, bonuses, accolades because we deserve them. As it relates to relationships, we've come to a crossroad and it's time to decide, like, where do we go from here, if anywhere? Some of us are not going any further. Especially we started out in the beginning with the Queen of Air. What is she best for? Cutting bullshit and people that don't mean her well the hell off and done. So that's going to happen here too. And probably joy stealers, backstabbers, smiling in your face all the while they want to take your place. All right, that's how the song goes. But you will be triumphant above that sort of energy, especially if you can keep yourself together and, you know, maintain positive energy. Let's do a little clarification. Beginning with the Seven of Air, the next upright card. The Seven of Fire. So somebody could be trying to take your joy by, like, disagreeing with a decision that you've made on your own behalf, or, you know, a path that you're walking, how you're choosing to live your life on this day or in a moment. Somebody can be disagreeing and, you know, that's a bummer. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground, but choose your battles wisely. So sometimes you're going to fight, sometimes you're not. You know, you're just going to say, screw this. I don't have to even give you my energy. Again, it may involve a fire sign. We have it being clarified now by the Seven of Fire as well. Let's take a look at the Five of Air. And it's the Knight of Earth. Loyal, dedicated, honorable, kind. Time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. So the Knight of Earth could very well be who's making the poor and unwise choice. If that's not the case, if it's not an earth sign, which was also evident the day prior, it looked like there was a situation involving a fire sign, an earth sign, and an air sign. If it's not that, it can be, again, with finances or assets or something, some sort of decision that you're making, a choice you're making as it relates to finances, career, assets. And again, somebody's trying to, like, take away your bonus, your accolade, your raise, your promotion, your acknowledgement, and get in the way of that. Whether it's like official at work or, you know, it's something in your home or community that you are due to be recognized for. And somebody's just trying to get in the way of that. It's crossing these two sevens. So again, it can be a decision about how you spend your money or whether or not you involve yourself with an earth sign, or about an asset or something, but just be mindful of this sort of thing. And be mindful of the victory here, the Chariot, the Six of Earth with which we started. Keep those positive things in mind, and that'll help you keep your thoughts positive too. The masculine's 10 of air. Four of fire. Contentment, peace, and abundance. A happy home life and the successful completion of a project. So he may have actually gotten a home or changed living situations. Whether that means moving, with all the energy of moving that we saw. Whether that means moving, you know, from one home to another, or moving into a new space, or maybe moving somebody out of his home, out of his life. Whatever changes he's made, they are bringing him peace. And this is clarifying further the 10 of air. So out of a difficult and or codependent situation and moving to one that really brings him a lot of joy. And it's this 1111 that we saw or heard about all through the this day portion of the reading. That seemed to be the number of the day, 1111. And then we have that. So further advice to the masculine, the page of air. Challenging information, delays or changes to plans. That can be what this is here too. If something like this comes up, masculine, don't fret. Like if there's a glitch, you know, something comes up in your financing that you're needing for a purchase you're making, or with the job, something doesn't go right with the bonus, something doesn't go right. Like, don't give up in that moment. You know, keep positive that it's still going to work out in the end. Okay, because there's a page of air energy, and this could be like Mercury. I didn't look into what's going on with the moon and all that stuff on this day, but this could be like energy slipping in, some sort of transit or something. Don't let it get you down, because the outcome is still good here. Logical, honest, impulsive, and curious is the page of air. They're also a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, or, you know, the energy of Mercury or Venus themselves. And feminine for us, it's the Knight of Fire, just like the day prior. I didn't mean to rhyme, but, you know, I am from New York and the Bronx, so invented rap. The Knight of Fire is passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. The Knight of Fire, like the Queen here, is a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, possibly a Scorpio, or the planet Mars or Jupiter themselves, and is a very positive energy coming to help you. This is Prince Charming to the rescue. So where you thought you, again, may have difficulty, conflict, disaster, if you remain positive, similar to what I told the masculine, all will be well for you as well. I hope that you guys enjoy the daily reading and find it helpful. Namaste, angels.